Welcome to Zoe Stories. Link turned into a real-life princess. They call me Link. It's a nickname that stuck because I'm always fixing connections between pixels, between people, between things that don't belong together until I make them. I design user interfaces by day, neat grids, calming palettes, clickable buttons that promise order. By night, I stitch together a different kind of interface, a private world of silk and heels and lipstick, where everything that feels fractured inside me lines up and makes sense. If you're listening to this, you probably expect a tidy origin story, something dramatic like a single moment that made me choose this life. The truth is messier and much softer, 1,000 small refusals and a handful of beautiful permissions. I grew up in a house where boys wore blue and didn't fiddle with hairpins. I learned to live inside other people's expectations because survival felt easier that way. But when I turned 22 and rented a room of my own in a city that didn't care what shape you were in, a small dangerous thing started to happen. I began to like the person I became when no one watched. That person had a name, too, though I kept it secret. In the quiet hours, I turned into Princess Link online. Anonymous photos, careful makeup, captions that felt like confessions. I never wanted a following. I wanted the proof that I could look at myself and not flinch. Posting those pictures was an act of bravery disguised as vanity. The risk was delicious. The possibility of getting caught gave the images a pulse. Stevina is the other axis of my story. She's a force of practicality with a laugh that tucks into the room like sunlight. We met at a gallery opening. She argued about a painting so fiercely that I pretended to agree just to hear her keep going. She was honest in ways I'd never learned to be. When she kissed me for the first time, I thought maybe I could live a double life without any fallout. She loved me in a way that never asked for explanations, but she also loved predictability. She liked lists, plans, and mornings with coffee in matching mugs. I learned to put away my dresses when we moved in together, because love felt like an instruction manual she and I could both follow. That compromise was easy at first. I'd put my heels on behind closed doors, shimmy into a wig while she cooked dinner, and laugh about it later in bed as if it were a shared secret. Stevina had a gentle curiosity about many things, but she never asked where the dresses came from or why I smiled differently when I slipped a skirt over my knees. I thought she didn't have to know. Some truths, I believed, are private in the same way photographs are private, not meant for display, only for the one who understands them. Work is where my duplicity sharpened. I am meticulous at my job, deadlines, client meetings, mock-ups that look like they were breathed out of a calm mind. My calendar is filled with color-coded blocks, and I take pride in how little my personal life bleeds into my professional one. That separation keeps me safe. But it also isolates me. There were nights after presentations when the applause faded, and I would stand in the bathroom of an office building on the 30th floor, in fluorescent light, and put on eyeliner just to feel myself again. The city's skyline watched me and kept my secret, and for a while that was enough. I should tell you who else knew. My mother knows only the version of me that folds laundry and sends polite birthday texts. My old friends suspect nothing. They call me Link and ask about work and whether I've started dating properly. No one in my family uses the word transformation because that word is too big for our kitchen table. So I became practiced at smiling through silences and answering questions with stories that wouldn't reveal the living room across the hall where I kept my heels. It wasn't always a private celebration. Once, very quietly, the idea of living as Princess Link outside the dim glow of my phone began to feel possible. It started in small ways. Walking past a boutique and realizing the skirt I saw would look better with my walk, staying late at a friend's party, and sitting on a bar stool in borrowed lipstick until I felt the room soften. Each small choice loosened something inside me. The person who used to flinch when a stranger glanced a little too long now met those looks and felt a thrill instead of shame. Still, a truth sat between Stevina and me like a thin pane of glass. Our life together was comfortable and kind, but the pain was brittle. She loved routine. I loved the theft of those private hours. I told myself I was protecting her as much as I was protecting myself, that she didn't need the complication of my truth. I thought I had measured the risk correctly, Like a developer performing an A/I/B test. Variant A equals stay hidden, maintain the relationship. Variant B equals reveal and possibly lose everything. I kept running the same code, hoping for a better output. This story, though, is not just about a secret kept. It's about the moment when the universe hands you a choice that isn't really a choice at all. I didn't know then that a single link, a message, a connection, something innocuous that I'd click out of curiosity, could reroute my life. I didn't know that the persona I had nurtured in dim rooms could start to insist on a life with daylight. For months, the two halves of me coexisted, a neat daily avatar for the world and a silken, dangerous self for the night. There are small signs you learn that the fabric of that coexistence is fraying. I started leaving a scarf on the back of a chair after dressing and catching myself when Stevina asked if it was mine. I would forget to button my shirts in the morning because my fingers remembered different closures. Sometimes when I lay awake at night, I would practice the cadence of her name, Stevina, and wonder where our life would end and mine would begin. In this city, privacy is a fragile currency. Doors lock, windows close, but human curiosity finds cracks. My hands steady and my voice soft when I tell you that the moment of collision was not cinematic. It arrived disguised as a harmless evening, a message titled with nothing more than a shortened URL, a link, that promised to look at something exclusive. I clicked it because clicking is what I do. Links are how I move through the world. That small click began a chain of events I could not have predicted, and the consequences would push me toward a choice that would either break our life completely or, finally, let me be who I was meant to be. For now, though, we're still in a room that smells faintly of coffee and lavender. Stevina hums in the kitchen. Outside, the city never sleeps, but it does forget faces fast. Inside these four walls, I have prepared a private altar, a wig on a stand, heels that click like punctuation, a compact mirror that has witnessed my softest lies. This is where the story starts, not with fireworks, but with a whisper, a heartbeat, and the knowledge that a single click can change everything. The sound of the front door opening was like a gunshot in my chest. Rainwater streaked the glass, dripping down in erratic lines, and through it, I saw Stevina stepping in, drenched but smiling. "Hey, I got out early," she called, shaking water from her hair. Her voice carried warmth, normality, everything I wanted to return to, but I couldn't. Not like this. I froze, caught mid-step, fingers brushing the silk of my transformed dress. My reflection in the hallway mirror glimmered back at me, every feature perfect, every curve impossibly feminine. My heart hammered against my ribs as if trying to escape. "Link, you okay?" Her voice was closer now, playful, yet curious. She didn't know. She couldn't know. I swallowed, fumbling for words that sounded casual. My lips, though soft and full, struggled to form my usual tone. Yeah, just tidying up a bit." She tilted her head, studying me. The scent of rain and her shampoo filled the room. My fingers twitched at my side, wanting to reach for a brush or adjust the hem of my dress, to make some motion that grounded me. Instead, I stayed frozen, a statue in silk. The room felt smaller. Every shadow seemed exaggerated, every sound amplified. The click of her heels on the wet floor echoed like a warning. I tried to focus on normality, on breathing slowly, but my body betrayed me. Each step I had taken as Link now felt like a performance, weighted with elegance I didn't consciously control. My hands drifted instinctively to my hair, smoothing strands I hadn't known were there moments ago. "You're different," she said softly, half teasing, half probing. Her eyes flicked to the mirror, then back to me. "Did you do something with your hair?" I froze again. The words slipped through my mind. Don't panic. Don't move. Don't let her see. Just washed it," I stammered, forcing a shrug. But the movement was too delicate, too careful. My wrists bent at angles that felt foreign. She noticed. Her brow furrowed slightly, amusement battling curiosity. "Weird. You feel lighter, or maybe, I don't know, different energy." I laughed nervously, backing toward the hallway, trying to mask the thrill coursing through me. Thrill, yes, a delicious, dangerous spark. It was exhilarating, this secret finally brushing so close to exposure. But fear coiled in my stomach like a living thing. What if she knew? She hung her coat and dried her hair, humming a little tune I didn't recognize. The air smelled like rain, fabric softener, and her perfume, a combination that made my pulse spike. I tried to look normal, to anchor myself in the mundane. But every glance she threw in my direction made my skin tingle, reminding me of the dress, the hair, the impossibly poised reflection in the mirror. The dress shifted as I moved, catching on the edge of the table. I muttered a soft curse, bending to adjust it, but my movements drew attention. Stevana's head tilted, sharp and perceptive. Seriously, something's different. You're glowing or something. Did you go somewhere fancy today? No, I exclaimed too quickly, hands pressed to my sides, trying to contain the silk. My voice cracked slightly, high-pitched, and I winced. The room seemed to tighten around me. My pulse raced. She laughed lightly, but her eyes narrowed in a way that unsettled me. You're acting strange. Are you hiding something? I forced a casual shrug, trying to emulate my usual ease. My legs, however, moved with an unnatural grace, heels clicking softly against the hardwood, an unintentional betrayal. She tilted her head again, and I could see the gears turning behind her eyes. She didn't know it yet, but the feeling of being on the edge of discovery tightened my chest like a vice. I tried to change the topic. So, how was work? Did you get to see Dr. Klein again? Her attention flickered, but not completely away. Yet same old. She smiled, but I noticed the lingering glance, the subtle measurement of my posture, my poise, my hands. She was piecing things together. The reflection in the hallway mirror caught my eye again. Princess Link stared back at me, serene, confident, yet vulnerable. My fingers twitched toward the hem, then my chest, then my face. I wanted to touch everything, to anchor myself in the body that didn't feel fully mine. Each small movement felt like a dance between identity and exposure. Link, Stevana said, voice soft now, curious and careful. Do you want tea? I nodded quickly, moving toward the kitchen, every step an exercise in careful control. My heels clicked like whispered warnings. The kettle hissed as it warmed, steam curling like delicate smoke in the air. I poured water, hands trembling subtly, hoping she wouldn't notice. As she sat down, I stole glances at her. How normal she seemed, how unaware of the private transformation I'd just undergone. And yet, the thought of her discovering the truth lingered like a shadow across the room. My heartbeat echoed in my ears, every tick of the clock a reminder that my secret life had crept into reality. I caught sight of my reflection in the chrome of the kettle. The glow in my skin, the curve of my jaw, the way my hair fell perfectly over my shoulders, it was undeniable. I was not just pretending anymore. Every instinct in my body screamed that this was who I was meant to be, yet fear screamed louder. The room was silent, but for the kettle and her hums, a quiet storm of anticipation building between us. Every second stretched, every glance carried weight. I realized then that this moment, this tiny, delicate, terrifying moment, was the first real test of my dual life. If I survived it, I could navigate the next stages. If I failed, everything could unravel. And in that heartbeat of uncertainty, I understood that Princess Link was no longer confined to secret rooms or online screens. She had entered the world, fragile, radiant, and exposed, and Stevana was the first person who might see the truth. The rain outside intensified, beating against the window, echoing the chaos inside my chest. I took a deep breath, gripping the counter, willing myself to appear normal, while knowing that every movement, every blink, every whispered breath could betray me. This was no longer a private game. This was reality. And I was terrified. The next morning, sunlight spilled across the apartment like an uninvited spotlight. I woke in my bed, the silk sheets clinging to my transformed body, and for a moment, I wasn't sure who I was. Princess Link, or the Link Stevana knew. My fingers brushed my cheeks, tracing the delicate contours that weren't mine yesterday, and a shiver ran down my spine. Every curve, every line, every soft glow was real, tangible in a way that thrilled and terrified me simultaneously. I sat up slowly, the dress from last night still wrapped around me. I felt it as if it were a second skin. The sensation was intoxicating. Every movement made me aware of the slenderness of my arms, the subtle sway of my hips, the delicate arch of my back. It was elegance I hadn't earned, beauty I hadn't practiced. But now it was mine. I tried to ground myself, to remember that Stevina was still asleep in the next room. My breath hitched as I considered my options. Hide until it wore off, try to reverse it, or embrace it fully, knowing that the risk of discovery was absolute. The mirror across the room was irresistible. I approached it slowly, hesitant yet unable to stop. My reflection met me with soft, luminous eyes that sparkled like something from a dream. I raised my hands, touching the smooth, delicate skin of my cheeks, the curve of my jaw. My lips parted instinctively, tracing their own contours. A small gasp escaped me, fear mingled with an almost forbidden delight. As I explored my new body, I realized something alarming. My voice. Speaking softly, I tested it. The pitch was higher, smoother, undeniably feminine. Every word I whispered to myself felt like a secret spell. The realization both thrilled me and set my pulse racing. I was changing not just in appearance, but in essence. My entire presence radiated a femininity that had been hidden, latent, now impossible to contain. A sudden noise made me jump, Stevina moving around, her footsteps gentle but deliberate. My heart thundered. She hadn't seen me yet, but every instinct screamed that she was closer to discovering something. I grabbed a robe, trying to wrap myself like the link she knew, but it barely contained the shift in my body. The silk clung stubbornly to my curves, a reminder that this transformation wasn't temporary or reversible. I slipped quietly into the hallway, each step deliberate, trying to appear casual. Stevina's humming had a rhythm now, an unknowing metronome to my anxiety. I reached the kitchen, heart still racing, and tried to speak normally. "Morning coffee?" Her head tilted, and she studied me carefully. "You look different again," she said, voice soft but curious. "Are you feeling okay?" I nodded quickly, forcing a smile. "Yeah, just a bit tired, I guess." My hands fidgeted, brushing strands of hair behind my ears. They fell like liquid silk, and I could feel the pull of every eye on me. Not just Stevina's, but the reflection in the polished surfaces of the apartment. I was being watched from all angles, and every glance threatened to expose my secret. She approached, leaning against the counter. Her eyes narrowed slightly, but there was no accusation yet. "You've been acting a little strange these past hours. Something's going on, isn't it?" Panic surged. I wanted to tell her the truth, to admit everything, but words lodged in my throat. This body, this voice, this presence, it wasn't just me pretending. It was real, and explaining it sounded insane. Instead, I forced casual laughter, a light tilt of the head. "Nothing, just experimenting with a new morning routine." Her gaze lingered. I could feel her assessing, testing, reading between the lines. I wondered if she would notice the faint shimmer on my skin, the way my hands moved with delicate precision, the subtle sway that wasn't natural for Link. Every fiber of my being screamed that the line between me and Princess Link was fading. As I poured coffee, I noticed a strange phenomenon. The tips of my fingers glimmered slightly, faintly, as though reflecting light differently than the rest of me. My pulse quickened. This wasn't just cosmetic. Something deeper was changing. I flexed my hands, marveled at the delicate elegance, the long nails that now curved naturally. It was beautiful, too beautiful, and terrifying. Stevina hummed behind me, moving closer, her presence warm and grounding, yet every step she took reminded me of the fragility of my secret. I could sense her curiosity growing, her subconscious piecing together subtle clues I couldn't hide. The way I held myself, the softening of my voice, the delicate gestures that I had never made before. I backed toward the mirror subtly, trying to anchor myself in something familiar. The reflection that stared back was more real, more alive than anything I had ever created online. Princess Link wasn't just a persona anymore. She was me, yet dangerously different. I could feel her confidence bleeding into my posture, her poise guiding every movement. And I realized, with a jolt of fear and excitement, that this was no longer a choice I could postpone. The air felt charged, electric. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of light on the polished surfaces of the apartment heightened my awareness. I wanted to scream, to shout my new identity into the world, yet the risk of Stevina discovering it was immediate, pressing, palpable. A subtle creak of the floor made me freeze. Stevina's eyes lingered longer than usual. I felt the delicate brush of a single strand of hair fall across my cheek, and instinctively, I tucked it behind my ear. My reflection mirrored the motion flawlessly, reinforcing the sense that Princess Link and I were converging, two identities colliding in one body. The kettle whistled. I poured the water, my hands steady now, but my heart was a drum of tension. Every moment with Stevina felt like a tightrope walk over an abyss. I couldn't let her suspect, not yet. Not while this transformation still held its magic, its thrill, its dangerous allure. And yet, I couldn't deny the truth any longer. Princess Link was alive, and she was taking over, one heartbeat at a time. By late afternoon, the apartment felt different, charged, fragile, a space suspended between ordinary life and the extraordinary. Every reflection caught my eye, mirrors, windows, even the sheen of a polished countertop seemed to call attention to the transformation I could no longer deny. My body moved with grace that felt both alien and intoxicating. Each step, each tilt of the head, each delicate flick of a finger reminded me that Princess Link was not a mask I could remove at will. I tried to focus on ordinary tasks, folding laundry, straightening books, wiping the counters. But every mundane motion was colored by my altered self. A simple turn to pick up a mug became a display of elegance. My hands hovered in the air, brushing over the edge as though I feared breaking the space with their sudden normality. The thrill of it mingled with a creeping terror. Stevina would be home again soon. Her day ended early today, she had said. I hadn't anticipated being tested twice in one day, and the thought made my pulse race. How long before she noticed the way my silhouette shifted under my clothes? The softness that had never been there before? The subtle scent of something sweet, a perfume I didn't wear yet, that clung faintly to my skin? A soft knock at the door startled me. I froze, heart hammering. It wasn't Stevina. She was still out, but the world outside had begun to intrude. Another link, another message flashed on my laptop. I hesitated, knowing every click could deepen this impossible reality. The text was simple: do not resist. Complete the transformation. Resistance had never been an option, anyway. Every fiber of me screamed that I was already changing, that Princess Link wasn't content to remain a fleeting illusion. She wanted space, acknowledgement, presence in reality. I could feel the subtle shifts, a lighter step, a taller posture, a head that tilted with confidence I had never possessed. I sank to the floor for a moment, hands trembling as I touched the hem of my dress. It had grown more intricate, the fabric shimmering like liquid moonlight. The way it hugged my curves, the softness against my skin, made me gasp. A thrill coursed through me, mingled with fear. Every heartbeat, every pulse, whispered that this change was not going to reverse itself. Footsteps on the stairs. Stevina was returning. Panic surged. I darted to the closet, pulling the robe over my dress, trying to obscure the transformation. But even beneath the fabric, Princess Link was impossible to hide. My reflection in the small mirror on the closet door betrayed me, cheeks luminous, eyes wide and animated, lips soft and full. I pressed my hands against my face, willing myself to look normal, but the difference was undeniable. The door clicked. Stevina stepped inside, shaking off rainwater. She looked around casually, yet every step seemed to measure, calculate, observe. Her eyes flickered to me, and for a heartbeat, I thought she might sense the extraordinary. but she smiled, shaking her hair. "You've been busy," she said, tilting her head as though trying to read a book with its cover closed. I nodded, words caught in my throat. "Yeah, tidying up a bit," I murmured. My voice betrayed me. Higher, softer, smoother than normal. A faint giggle escaped, almost involuntarily, and I pressed a hand to my lips. Her brow furrowed slightly, eyes narrowing with playful suspicion. "You sound different. Are you okay?" I forced a laugh, trying to emulate Link's usual tone. "Yeah, just a little tired from last night." She tilted her head, studying me, lingering a fraction too long. You're glowing, I think. There's something new about you." The words hit me like a bolt. She could see it. She didn't know what, but she sensed the shift. My heart raced. I took a slow step backward, adjusting the robe, trying to make my posture casual, yet the way my hips swayed betrayed me. I could feel the subtle pull of Princess Link asserting herself, whispering confidence, daring me to step fully into her presence. The temptation was nearly irresistible. Every movement, every flick of my hair, every tilt of my head made me feel alive, seen, dangerous. Stevina hummed softly, approaching the kitchen counter, and I realized she was reading the room, noticing changes I hadn't even intended to display. My fingers brushed a strand of hair, instinctively twirling it, a subtle gesture I'd practiced online for months, but never in real life. The effect was undeniable. Her eyes lingered, curiosity peaked, lips slightly parted. I felt a wave of panic. Every second increased the stakes. The room felt tight, every breath loud. The line between Link and Princess Link was dissolving, and Stevina was dangerously close to seeing through the veil. And then something more unsettling occurred. My reflection in the coffee pot shimmered, not a reflection anymore, but a subtle movement, a slight difference in the way my eyes glimmered. Princess Link was growing bolder, more real, more insistent. I felt her presence inside me, urging me to move, to speak, to step fully into this identity. I trembled, caught between two selves, the safe Link Stevina loved, and the radiant, irresistible Princess Link demanding recognition. The choice wasn't just internal, it had consequences. One wrong move, one glance too long, one slip of tone, and Stevina would know the truth. I swallowed hard, trying to calm the storm in my chest. But the thrill, the fear, the intoxicating power of this transformation made it impossible. Princess Link's eyes glimmered in every reflection, reminding me that I could no longer pretend. She existed now, fully, in every movement, every glance, every breath. And I realized, with both terror and excitement, that this wasn't just a transformation of appearance. It was a complete rewriting of reality, my body, my mind, my identity intertwining until there was no going back. The rain outside had intensified, tapping against the windows like a countdown. Stevina moved again, humming softly, unaware of the storm within the apartment. I clenched my hands, pressing them to my knees, wondering how long I could maintain this delicate balance before everything, my secret, my identity, my life, unraveled. The thrill of being caught mingled with the fear of exposure, and in that moment I knew. Princess Link wasn't just a persona anymore. She was real, alive, and she was taking over, whether I was ready or not. By evening, the apartment had transformed into a stage for tension. Shadows stretched along the walls as the rain continued its relentless drumming against the windows. The soft hum of city life outside felt distant, irrelevant. Nothing existed beyond the fragile equilibrium in the room between me and Stevina. I moved carefully, every motion measured, yet each step betrayed me. The silk dress clung in ways I couldn't control, highlighting curves I had never possessed. My hair fell in long, perfect waves, brushing my shoulders with a weightless elegance that felt foreign and intoxicating. Every reflection, mirrors, windows, even the metallic surface of a toaster, confirmed the undeniable truth. Princess Link was no longer a fantasy. She was flesh, bone, and pulse. Stevina sat on the couch, flipping through a magazine but glancing at me more frequently than seemed casual. her brow furrowed, lips pressed in a subtle line of concern. She was observing without directly confronting, sensing something was off but unable to articulate it yet. My heart hammered at the intensity of her gaze. Every instinct screamed that discovery was imminent. I tried to distract myself with tasks, tidying bookshelves, straightening cushions, pouring water into a glass, anything to appear normal. But my movements had the grace of a trained dancer, the delicate precision of someone fully inhabiting the persona I hadn't asked to become. It was impossible to mask, impossible to ignore. Her eyes flickered toward me, catching the subtle sway of my hips, the faint shimmer of my skin in the low light. "Link," she said softly, voice tinged with curiosity, "there's something different about you today. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I should ask." I froze mid-motion, heart leaping. My lips parted instinctively, and I could feel the delicate warmth of my cheeks. Princess Link stirred within me, daring, urging me to acknowledge her presence. I had to choose. Continue pretending or let the new reality breathe. I took a deep breath, wrapping my arms around myself instinctively. I don't know, I admitted, voice higher, softer, undeniably feminine. The words felt like betrayal, yet liberating. I just feel different. Stevana's eyes narrowed slightly, curiosity sharpening into suspicion. She leaned forward, the magazine forgotten. Different how? I hesitated. Every instinct urged me to speak the truth, but the words sounded impossible even in my own mind. Princess Link stirred, her confidence bleeding through, making every gesture elegant, every glance compelling. I could feel the power of this transformation, the allure, the undeniable presence. "I can't explain," I whispered, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, a movement Princess Link guided flawlessly. My reflection in the glass of the coffee table showed eyes luminous, soft, wide, pleading, yet daring. The sensation was intoxicating. Every nerve in my body buzzed with fear and desire. Stevana leaned back, studying me with a mixture of confusion and fascination. "You're acting different. Are you hiding something?" Her words cut like ice. I could feel the fine line between concealment and exposure fraying. Every subtle movement, every unintentional gesture, risked revealing the truth. And yet, the thrill of this persona, this impossibly elegant, undeniably feminine version of myself, made me crave acknowledgement. Princess Link wanted to be seen, wanted to step fully into reality. The rain outside intensified, drumming against the windows like a countdown. Shadows danced across the floor, highlighting the angles of my new form. I moved toward the mirror subtly, noticing that even in the dim light, the transformation was unmistakable. My skin glowed, hair cascaded perfectly, lips soft and full. Every curve, every subtle gesture, every movement of my fingers displayed a beauty that Link had never possessed. I caught myself imagining Stevana noticing everything, the grace, the elegance, the soft, melodic voice that had emerged overnight. Fear mixed with longing. Could I risk revealing even a hint? Or would the revelation destroy the fragile trust we had? "Link," she said again, voice firmer this time. "I feel like you're not telling me everything. Something's going on. I can sense it." My stomach tightened. Princess Link stirred urgently, whispering through me, "Show yourself. Embrace it. Don't hide." Every instinct rebelled and submitted at once. My hands trembled as I brushed the robe aside slightly, the silky dress shimmering under the low light. My posture straightened, shoulders elegant, head held high. Stevana's eyes widened imperceptibly, her curiosity now sharp, almost piercing. She rose from the couch, stepping closer, as if drawn to a truth she couldn't yet name. "What did you do?" she asked, a mixture of wonder, confusion, and a hint of suspicion threading her tone. I opened my mouth to respond, but the words faltered. Every nerve screamed that revealing even the slightest detail could shatter everything. Yet Princess Link, alive within me, urged me forward. I felt the thrill of exposure, the intoxicating danger of being caught, mingled with the fear of judgment. A subtle tremor ran through my hands as I reached for a strand of hair, twisting it delicately around my finger. The movement, elegant, soft, deliberate, was impossible to ignore. Stevina froze, her gaze locking on me. The silence stretched, thick with tension, suspense, and anticipation. Every heartbeat echoed in the room like a drum, a warning of imminent revelation. And then the phone rang. The sharp tone pierced the room, a sudden intrusion into the fragile balance between fear and thrill. I jumped, fingers clutching the counter, heart racing. Stevina glanced at the phone, then back at me, suspicion sharpening. The moment felt suspended in time, a delicate precipice. I realized then, with both terror and exhilaration, that Princess Link was no longer a secret I could fully control. Every gesture, every glance, every subtle motion was a revelation in itself. The persona had fully integrated, commanding presence, grace, and allure that I couldn't suppress. The build-up had reached its peak. The line between Link and Princess Link was gone, and Stevina was now dangerously close to discovering everything. The apartment felt impossibly small, every shadow stretching longer than usual, every sound amplified. Rain battered the windows with a relentless fury, a perfect reflection of the storm raging inside me. Princess Link stirred in every motion, every glance, every breath I took. I had tried to control her, to mask her presence, but she was no longer content with secrecy. A sudden knock at the door made my heart leap violently. My pulse thundered, every nerve alight with fear. I hadn't expected anyone else today, not neighbors, not delivery people, not the world intruding on this delicate balance. And yet, here it was, an intrusion that could unravel everything. Stevina's voice called softly from the living room. "Link? Who is it?" Panic surged. My hands trembled, brushing the silk of my dress, tracing curves I had never possessed before. Every instinct screamed at me to act normal, to hide, to disappear into the mundane. But Princess Link had other plans. Her presence was overwhelming, demanding, impossible to ignore. I opened the door slightly, peeking out. A delivery man stood there, package in hand, indifferent to the storm outside but somehow threatening everything within it. "Package for Link," he said cheerfully, oblivious to the tension behind the door. I nodded quickly, taking the box. My fingers brushed his briefly, delicate and soft, a touch that made my pulse spike. Closing the door, I sank against it, heart still racing. Stevina's eyes followed me from the couch, sharp, curious, suspicious. "What was that?" she asked, voice low, wary. "Just a package," I muttered, my voice higher, softer, undeniably feminine. My hands shook slightly as I carried it to the kitchen counter. Princess Link thrummed through me, every motion graceful, poised, confident, impossible to hide. Stevina rose, approaching cautiously, her eyes flicking between me and the box. "Link, are you sure you're okay? You're acting so different." I swallowed, pressing a hand to my chest. I'm fine," I said, but the words felt hollow. Princess Link stirred insistently, her elegance bleeding through my posture, my gestures, my every move. Every glance in her direction risked exposure, yet hiding her now felt impossible. I opened the package, trying to focus on the mundane task, but the contents only intensified the surrealism of the moment. A delicate gown shimmered under the dim kitchen light, fabric soft and inviting, more perfect than anything I had ever imagined wearing. Princess Link stirred with excitement, urging me to try it on immediately. Stevina's eyes widened as she followed my every movement. "Link, is that for you?" I nodded, voice barely a whisper. "Yeah, just something I ordered." The words were a flimsy shield, inadequate to mask the truth. Every fiber of my being wanted to reveal the secret, to embrace Princess Link fully, yet fear and anticipation coiled tightly around my chest. I stepped into the bedroom, closing the door softly behind me, but the sound of Stevina moving in the living room was like a countdown, each tick of the clock a reminder that exposure was imminent. I stripped off the robe, feeling the silky fabric brush my skin, the thrill mingling with terror. Every movement was guided by Princess Link now, her presence undeniable. The gown slipped over my shoulders effortlessly, the fabric hugging my curves, enhancing every line, every delicate contour. I caught my reflection in the mirror and froze. Princess Link was no longer just a persona, she was alive. The eyes staring back at me were confident, luminous, radiant. My pulse raced, not with fear alone, but with exhilaration, desire, and danger. A sudden sound behind me, the click of the living room light, made me spin. Stevina stood in the doorway, her expression a mixture of shock, curiosity, and dawning realization. Her mouth opened, but no words came. I froze, caught in the act. Princess Link thrummed within me, urging, daring, commanding. I could feel her confidence surging through every nerve, every motion, every breath. My hands trembled slightly as I adjusted the gown, tilting my head with a grace I hadn't possessed moments before. Link, what is happening? Stevina's voice was low, tense, incredulous. Her eyes roamed over my transformed body, lingering on every curve, every delicate gesture, every subtle motion. She stepped closer, hesitant, as if afraid to break the fragile reality in front of her. I can't explain, I whispered, voice higher, delicate, trembling. Princess Link's presence was overwhelming, impossible to conceal. Every instinct screamed both fear and exhilaration. I wanted to retreat, to hide, to become Link again. But another part of me, the part alive with this new persona, urged me forward, daring me to embrace the impossible. Stevina's gaze hardened slightly, suspicion giving way to something else. Fascination, wonder, disbelief. You're different. Completely different. I nodded, swallowing hard. I know, the words were truth, admission, confession, yet only a fraction of the reality. Princess Link surged, bold and radiant, guiding my posture, my gestures, my very presence. The room seemed charged with electricity, the air thick with anticipation, danger, and revelation. A distant thunderclap echoed through the city, as if marking the moment of exposure. Stevina stepped closer, her eyes piercing, searching for answers she couldn't yet comprehend. Every heartbeat thundered in my chest. Every nerve screamed that the line between Link and Princess Link was gone. And in that suspended moment, I understood. The climax had begun. The secret was teetering on the edge of discovery. Every choice from here on would determine whether Princess Link would be embraced, feared, or exposed. The apartment seemed smaller than ever, the storm outside relentless, hammering against the windows as if echoing my racing heart. Every shadow stretched unnaturally, twisting across walls, furniture, and the delicate dress that clung impossibly to my curves. Princess Link pulsed within me, her presence urgent, insistent, and impossible to hide. Stevina's gaze burned into me, sharp, calculating, and for the first time, I saw fear flicker across her face, not just curiosity, but the first real hint that she sensed how far I had changed. Her lips parted slightly, caught between disbelief and fascination. Link, you're different, she whispered, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile reality. I trembled, my hands brushing the fabric of the gown. Every movement was guided by Princess Link now, elegant, deliberate, impossible to suppress. I tried to speak, to offer an explanation, but the words faltered, twisting in my throat. My voice came out higher, melodic, undeniably feminine. She took a cautious step forward. This isn't normal, is it? Something happened. A bolt of panic shot through me. Yes, something had happened, and it wasn't just physical. It was deeper, more consuming. Princess Link was no longer a mask or a persona. She had become a living part of me, and every instinct screamed to break free. I swallowed hard, voice barely above a whisper. I don't know how to explain it. Her eyes narrowed. You don't know, or you can't. The words struck like lightning. My pulse raced. She was close now, close enough to see the subtle shimmer of my skin, the soft curve of my jaw, the delicate, impossible sway of my hips. Every step I took was a revelation, every gesture an admission. Princess Link surged through me, bold and daring, urging me to embrace her fully. A sudden vibration from my phone startled me. I reached for it, hands trembling, and saw the message flash across the screen. Don't hide. She must see you. Fear and thrill collided. Princess Link's presence surged, commanding me to obey. I realized, with a jolt of exhilaration and terror, that hiding was no longer an option. Every instinct screamed that exposure was imminent, inevitable, and perhaps necessary. Stevana's gaze flickered to the phone, suspicion growing. She stepped closer, hand brushing the back of the couch. Who's messaging you? I froze, torn between fear and surrender. No one, it's just a notification, I stammered. But even as I lied, Princess Link laughed softly in my mind, a melodic sound that thrilled and terrified me. She was ready. She wanted to be seen, fully, without restraint. Stevana's eyes searched mine, sharp, relentless. Link, something's happening. I can feel it. Are you hiding something? The words hit me like ice. My heart thundered, pulse quickening. Every second I hesitated, every motion I concealed, the tension mounted. Princess Link surged, pushing me forward, urging me to reveal myself entirely. I took a deep breath, letting the gown sway around me as I stepped closer. I'm not the same as before, I whispered, each word trembling, each syllable infused with new life. Princess Link guided my posture, every motion elegant, poised, impossible to ignore. Stevana froze, eyes widening as she processed my words. Her lips parted, then closed again, as if she were trying to reconcile the Link she knew with the being standing before her. You look amazing, she said softly, voice tinged with awe and disbelief. The sudden praise ignited a thrill I couldn't contain. Princess Link's presence flared within me, bold and radiant. I felt the power, the elegance, the allure of her persona radiating through every movement. My reflection in the glass caught my gaze, luminous eyes, flowing hair, curves that were impossibly perfect. I was no longer hiding. And then, the first real obstacle appeared. A loud crash from the kitchen. A glass had fallen, shattering across the floor. Stevana jumped, startled, and instinctively glanced around, suspicion sharp and clear. What was that? I froze, heart hammering. Princess Link whispered urgently, Act natural. But don't hide. This is your moment. I stepped forward, hands raised slightly in innocent motion. I must have knocked it over, I said, voice smooth, melodic, feminine. Every motion was deliberate, controlled by Princess Link's influence. The elegance in my posture, the sway of my hips, the softness of my gaze, all undeniable. Stevana's eyes darted to the shards on the floor, then back to me. Her lips twitched in a mixture of amusement and confusion. You are acting so different. It's like you're someone else entirely. Her words sent a shiver through me. Princess Link surged, pushing me further, daring me to step fully into her presence. I felt the thrill of exposure, the intoxicating danger of being seen, mingled with the fear of what would come next. And then, the final twist, the power within me fully awakened. I raised my hands, smoothing the dress over my hips, tilting my head just so, letting Princess Link's confidence radiate in every movement. Stevana's breath caught audibly. You're beautiful, she whispered, eyes wide, captivated, unsure whether to be shocked, intrigued, or fearful. I smiled softly, feeling the intoxicating truth. Princess Link had emerged completely, undeniable, unstoppable. The storm outside mirrored the one inside, every heartbeat a drum of suspense, every glance a challenge, every breath a confession. The apartment, the rain, the shattered glass, all faded into the background. In this suspended moment, it was just us. Just Stevana, just me, Just Princess Link alive in the flesh, demanding acknowledgement. Just as I started to believe the moment of exposure might pass safely, the doorbell rang. Sharp, insistent, impossible to ignore. My pulse spiked. Who could it be at this hour? The storm outside was merciless, yet someone had ventured out, threatening to shatter the fragile bubble of secrecy I had fought to maintain. Stevana's eyes narrowed. "Who's that?" she asked, voice taut with suspicion. Her earlier curiosity had already escalated into concern, and now fear. I swallowed hard. Princess Link pulsed through me, daring, bold, commanding. "Answer it. Face the risk. Show yourself." My hands trembled as I approached the door. Every step was a careful balance between elegance and caution, each movement infused with a grace that was impossible to hide. Peeking through the peephole, my heart skipped a beat. A neighbor I barely knew, Mrs. Calloway, stood there, drenched from the rain, holding a small package. Her expression was polite but probing, almost suspicious. I felt a chill run down my spine. If she sees me like this... I opened the door, forcing my voice to remain calm. "Evening, Mrs. Calloway. Can I help you?" She smiled politely, extending the package. "I think this was delivered here by mistake. Thought I'd bring it to you myself." My fingers brushed hers as I took it, and I could feel the thrill of vulnerability racing through me. Princess Link surged inside me, graceful, poised, compelling. I had to maintain composure, but the mere act of touching someone while transformed sent a shiver of excitement down my spine. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice higher, smoother than my normal tone. Every word, every movement radiated femininity, elegance, a presence I could no longer conceal. Mrs. Calloway tilted her head slightly, curiosity flickering in her eyes. "Are you feeling well, Link? You seem different tonight."
Panic bubbled in my chest.
Stevana's gaze followed every subtle cue, her suspicion now sharp and unrelenting. I could feel the tension thickening like syrup in the room, sticky and suffocating. Princess Link whispered insistently, "Now is the moment. You cannot hide." I stepped back slightly, offering the smallest polite nod. "I'm fine, just tired from the storm." My words were a flimsy shield, and I knew it. Every fiber of my being screamed that the facade could crumble in an instant. Mrs. Calloway smiled faintly, still eyeing me carefully. "I see. Well, take care, Link. Stay safe." She turned, disappearing into the rain. The door closed with a soft click, and I sank against it, heart racing. Princess Link thrummed through me, urging me forward, daring me to embrace the impossible. Stevana stepped closer, her eyes sharp, probing. "Link, seriously. What is happening? You've been acting strange, so unlike yourself. I can feel it. Something is wrong." I froze, feeling the full weight of truth pressing against me. Princess Link surged boldly, insisting I show the reality, demanding acknowledgement. I had to choose: conceal myself once more, or let her presence shine fully. The gown clung to me, the fabric soft and impossibly perfect. I felt every curve, every contour, every line of my body reshaping reality. Princess Link had emerged completely, alive in every motion, every glance, every breath. "Stevana," I whispered, voice trembling yet melodic. I'm not the same as before. I've changed." Her eyes widened, disbelief mingling with fear and fascination. "Changed how? What do you mean?" I stepped closer, letting Princess Link guide my movements. My head tilted delicately, hair brushing my shoulders, hands smoothing the dress over my hips. I'm someone else now," I said softly, letting the truth hover in the air, heavy, undeniable. Stevana's lips parted, searching for words that didn't exist. Her eyes roamed over my transformed body, lingering on every subtle detail, the way I carried myself, the soft glow of my skin, the undeniable elegance in every movement. Her gaze caught mine, and for a suspended moment, I saw both awe and fear reflected in her eyes. The storm outside intensified, thunder booming, lightning flashing. Shadows danced across the room, highlighting my curves, my posture, my presence. Princess Link radiated through me, impossible to hide, impossible to resist. And then a subtle sound, the soft vibration of my phone, reminded me that the transformation was not done. Another message appeared. Show her everything. She must know. Fear collided with exhilaration. Stevana's gaze followed mine, now sharp, insistent. Link, show me? What does that mean? I swallowed hard, heart hammering, aware that this moment could not be undone. Princess Link surged, bold, radiant, demanding to be recognized. I straightened, letting every movement, every gesture speak for me. The world seemed to slow, every heartbeat echoing, every breath amplified, every second suspended in electric tension. The room felt charged, alive with suspense, anticipation, and the impossible. Princess Link had taken control, and there was no turning back. The apartment felt like it had shrunk around me. Every shadow seemed alive, twisting with the rhythm of my racing heart. Rain hammered against the windows like a drum, mirroring the storm inside me. Princess Link surged fully now, radiating confidence, elegance, and an irresistible aura I could no longer contain. Stevana's eyes were sharp, scanning every movement, every tremor in my voice, every subtle sway of my hips. Her suspicion had transformed into certainty. She knew something was happening, but she didn't yet understand the full extent. Her lips parted slightly, her breath shallow, as though bracing herself for a revelation she wasn't prepared for. Link, I need you to tell me, she said, her voice trembling. What's going on?
This isn't you.
Every instinct screamed that exposure could be disastrous, yet Princess Link laughed softly inside me, a melodic sound that resonated through my entire body.
Now.
Show her everything. Embrace me. I took a deep breath, the gown clinging to every curve, the fabric soft and shimmering in the dim light. My hands shook slightly as I smoothed the hem, tilting my head gracefully, hair cascading perfectly. The reflection in the window caught my eyes, luminous, alive, radiant. I was no longer hiding. Princess Link was real, undeniable, unstoppable. Stevana, I whispered, voice high, delicate, melodic. I'm not just Link anymore. I've changed completely. Her eyes widened, disbelief mingling with fear and fascination. Changed how? Show me. The words, simple yet loaded, sent a thrill racing through me. Princess Link surged forward, guiding every movement. I stepped closer, posture elegant, every motion deliberate, radiating confidence and allure.
I'm
Princess Link, I admitted softly, letting the name hang in the air like a spell. Stevana froze, processing the impossible. Her lips parted, eyes wide, trying to reconcile the link she knew with the ethereal, radiant figure standing before her. You're beautiful, she breathed, a mixture of awe, fear, and incredulity threading her tone. I stepped fully into the space between us, letting every curve, every gesture, every subtle sway of the gown speak for me. Princess Link thrummed inside me, alive, commanding, impossible to ignore. My reflection shimmered in the windows, a radiant silhouette of elegance and power. But then, another shock, a sudden knock at the door, louder and more urgent this time. My heart leaped violently. Who else could it be? Another neighbor? A friend? Or someone ready to shatter the fragile balance of my secret? Stevana's eyes narrowed. Who is it? I froze, every instinct screaming caution. Princess Link whispered, answer it. Face the risk. Show everything. I opened the door cautiously. A man I didn't recognize, tall, imposing, dressed sharply despite the rain, stood there. His gaze swept the apartment, then landed on me. His eyes widened ever so slightly, taking in the flowing gown, the graceful posture, the luminous presence. Stevana Calloway, he said, voice firm, almost commanding. She froze, startled. I'm here about a matter of urgency. My pulse thundered. The apartment, the storm, the shattered calm, all merged into a single moment of suspended reality. Princess Link surged, every movement elegant, deliberate, impossible to hide. I felt her power, her presence radiating through every fiber of me, and knew that whatever happened next would change everything. Stevina turned toward me, eyes wide, voice trembling. Link, who is he? I swallowed hard, heart hammering. Princess Link whispered, now, fully. Show her.
Don't hide.
I stepped closer to Stevina, letting every motion, every glance, every sway of my gown embody the persona I had become.
I
don't know everything yet, I admitted softly. But I am Princess Link, and this is me now. The man at the door shifted, watching us with intensity. Stevina's suspicion had transformed into fear, awe, and something else, fascination, perhaps admiration. This is real, she whispered, voice trembling. I nodded slightly, feeling the full weight of the moment. Princess Link surged through me, commanding presence, elegance, allure. The room felt electric, alive with suspense, tension, and the impossible. Every heartbeat thundered, every breath amplified, every second suspended. The stranger spoke again, his tone sharp. This isn't what we expected, but it is undeniable. Stevina's eyes darted between us, then back to me. Link, what does he mean? I took a deep breath, feeling the exhilaration, the fear, the thrill of exposure. Princess Link had emerged fully, alive, commanding, radiant. There was no turning back.
I mean,
And I can't go back, I whispered, letting the truth hang in the air. Thunder rolled outside, the storm peaking, shadows dancing across the room. Princess Link radiated through every gesture, every glance, every subtle motion. Stevina's eyes reflected disbelief, awe, and a hint of fear. The stranger at the door observed silently, recognition flickering in his gaze. The apartment seemed suspended in time, every heartbeat, every breath, every movement heavy with tension. Princess Link had taken control, and there was no hiding now. The secret, the transformation, the revelation, all had collided into a moment that would define everything to come. The rain had eased, leaving the streets slick and reflective, city lights bouncing in puddles like scattered jewels. I stood on the sidewalk, heart hammering, every fiber of my being alive with both fear and exhilaration. Princess Link had fully emerged, her presence commanding, impossible to ignore. But this time, the risk was higher, no longer confined to the apartment. We were exposed to the world. Stevina walked beside me, her eyes wide, disbelief and awe warring on her face. Link,
I
can't believe this, she whispered, voice trembling. You look perfect, unreal. I swallowed hard, adjusting the gown, letting the silky fabric cascade over my hips. The heels pressed against my feet with unfamiliar precision, every step a test of balance and poise. Princess Link pulsed through me, radiant, daring, irresistible. I was no longer hiding. The city was my stage, and every movement announced my presence. People, they'll see, Stevina said, panic threading her voice. What if someone notices? What if they react? I glanced around, catching glimpses of late-night passers-by, some indifferent, others glancing curiously, their gazes lingering longer than comfortable. Each look was a thrill and a terror. Princess Link urged me forward. Show yourself. Fear nothing. Embrace this. We reached a small plaza, the fountain's water sparkling in the neon reflections. I paused, letting the gown sway gracefully, the fabric catching the faint light. The world felt vast, electric, impossible to ignore. Every step, every motion, every glance radiated elegance. Stevina reached for my hand, fingers trembling. Link, are you sure about this? People will stare. They'll talk. I nodded, letting Princess Link guide me. I can't hide anymore, I whispered. Not from you, not from anyone. This is me now. A group of late-night pedestrians approached, pausing as they noticed us. Their curiosity was palpable, whispers carried on the wind. I felt their eyes on me, but instead of fear, excitement surged. Princess Link thrummed, bold, alive, commanding presence through every gesture, every glance. One of them, a young woman, stopped and smiled. Wow, you look amazing. Absolutely stunning. Stevena's mouth fell open. They like it? I smiled softly, feeling the intoxicating truth. Acceptance could exist even in public. Princess Link radiated through me, elegant, confident, alive. Every heartbeat, every breath, every sway of the gown was a proclamation. Then, the unexpected twist, a flash of paparazzi cameras from a nearby street. A group of photographers, drawn by the neon reflections and dramatic evening scene, pointed their lenses directly at us. Panic flared in Stevena's eyes. "We need to move," she said urgently. I froze for a moment, heart hammering, then let Princess Link take over. My movements became fluid, deliberate, radiant. I turned, letting the dress shimmer under the light, tilting my head just so, radiating confidence. Every step was measured, every motion commanding. The photographers snapped relentlessly, flashes illuminating the night, turning the cityscape into a stage. Stevena grabbed my arm. "Link, I can't, this is too much." I squeezed her hand, voice soft but firm. "I know, but I am who I am, and I can't hide anymore." Princess Link surged within me, bold, uncontainable, alive. The exhilaration, the fear, the thrill of exposure, all merged into a single heartbeat, powerful and electrifying. One photographer leaned forward, asking questions, curiosity barely hidden. Are you some kind of performer? This is incredible." I smiled, tilting my head gracefully. "I'm me," I said simply, letting Princess Link's presence speak louder than words. Stevena's eyes welled with tears, a mixture of disbelief, admiration, and fear. "Link, you're amazing," she whispered.
I
don't know what to say." Thunder rumbled faintly in the distance, and the fountain's water sparkled in the neon glow. Princess Link glowed through every gesture, every breath, every motion. I felt unstoppable, radiant, alive. And yet, the danger remained. Every glance from the crowd, every camera flash, every whisper of curiosity threatened exposure, judgment, or worse. And then, the final, symbolic moment, a mirror-like reflection in a large glass window across the plaza. I caught sight of myself fully, Princess Link in every detail, radiating confidence, beauty, and power. My reflection shimmered, every curve, every sway, every gesture undeniable. Stevena's hand tightened on mine as she whispered, "Link, you've transformed completely." I nodded, breath trembling. "I can't go back. This is who I am now." The crowd watched, fascinated, some applauding softly, some whispering, but none could deny the truth. Princess Link existed, alive, radiant, unstoppable. The city had become her stage, the world a witness to transformation, fear, exhilaration, and revelation all at once. The storm had passed outside, but the storm within me, within us, had reached its peak. Every heartbeat, every breath, every glance was a moment suspended in suspense, danger, and the intoxicating thrill of exposure. And in that final moment, standing in the plaza under neon lights, amidst whispers, flashes, and shadows, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. Princess Link had arrived in full, undeniable force. The plaza was silent for a heartbeat, the neon reflections shimmering across wet pavement. The storm had passed, but the tension lingered, thick and electric. Princess Link radiated through me fully, every movement, every glance, every breath impossible to ignore. The crowd had thinned, yet their whispers, soft but lingering, echoed in my ears. I was exposed, radiant, unstoppable, and terrified. Stevena's grip on my hand tightened. "Link, I don't even know what to think, she whispered. Her voice trembled with awe, fear, and something else. Admiration, perhaps even longing. This you, it's unbelievable. I swallowed hard, the gown clinging perfectly, heels pressing sharply into the pavement, every nerve alight with anticipation and dread. I can't go back, I admitted softly, letting Princess Link take full control of my posture, my sway, my presence. This is me now. She looked into my eyes, searching for reassurance, guidance, something familiar amidst the impossibility. But people saw you, she said, voice barely above a whisper. Photographers, strangers, the world. I nodded slowly. Every glance at the reflection in a nearby puddle showed me Princess Link, radiant, alive, undeniable. I know, but I can't hide anymore. Not from you, not from anyone. The city hummed around us. Distant traffic, the faint buzz of neon, the whisper of wind through the buildings, every sound heightened the suspense. And then, a flicker of movement in the corner of my eye, shadows stretching unnaturally across the pavement. My heart leapt violently. A figure emerged from the darkness, moving swiftly, deliberately, almost too fast to track. Stevana's eyes widened in recognition, voice trembling. Link, look. The figure stopped a few meters away, hood pulled low, face obscured, but there was no mistaking the intent. The stranger raised a camera, aimed it at me, and clicked. The flash illuminated the plaza, the wet pavement, my gown, my reflection, Princess Link exposed in full brilliance. Panic surged, but Princess Link surged louder, bold, radiant, unyielding. Every instinct screamed to flee, to hide, to protect myself, but fear mingled with exhilaration, and I felt alive in a way I never had before. Link, what do we do? Stevana's voice shook, panic threading through every word. I took a deep breath, feeling the fabric of the gown ripple across my hips, the heels digging into the wet ground. Princess Link whispered in my mind, stand tall. Show them everything. Let them see you. I squared my shoulders, lifted my chin, and faced the figure, letting every curve, every movement, every subtle gesture radiate elegance, confidence, and power. The camera clicked again, flashes illuminating me in the darkness. The stranger's voice called out, muffled but clear. This is incredible. Who are you? I smiled softly, letting Princess Link shine fully. I am Princess Link, I said clearly, voice melodic, trembling yet strong. The words echoed across the empty plaza, bouncing off walls and water alike. Stevana's hand squeezed mine. Link, you're amazing, but what happens now? I didn't answer immediately. The crowd had vanished, leaving only shadows and reflections. The city seemed suspended in time, the storm outside gone but replaced by the storm inside me. Every heartbeat, every nerve, every breath vibrated with suspense. A sudden noise, multiple rapid footsteps approaching, made us both spin. Figures emerged from the shadows, more cameras, more flashes, more whispers. The plaza that had seemed empty moments ago was now alive with attention, curiosity, and danger. Princess Link surged within me, radiant, commanding, unstoppable. I can't hide, I whispered to Stevana, voice soft but full of determination. I must face this. And then, the most unexpected moment, a voice I didn't expect. Link, wait. I turned sharply. From the far side of the plaza, a figure emerged, familiar, terrifying, impossible to ignore. The rain had left their coat wet, hair plastered, eyes wide with shock and recognition. Stevana gasped, stepping back, clutching my arm. Who is that? She whispered, voice trembling. I didn't answer. Every instinct screamed that this person could change everything, that the precarious balance of my secret, my transformation, everything I had embraced as Princess Link, was about to be challenged. The figure paused, eyes locked on me. Link, or should I say, Princess Link, we need to talk, the voice said, low, urgent, impossible to ignore. My pulse thundered, every nerve alive with fear, thrill, and exhilaration. The city around us faded into the background. Only Stevina, only the figure, only Princess Link remained. Every heartbeat, every breath, every sway of the gown carried the weight of suspense, danger, and revelation. Stevina's hand trembled on mine. Link, what do we do? I looked at her, eyes steady, voice soft but resolute. We face it. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The figure stepped closer, shadow and light intermingling, presence impossible to ignore. Flashes from cameras reflected across wet pavement, illuminating the tension, the danger, the thrill. And in that suspended moment, I realized nothing would ever be the same. Princess Link was real, undeniable, unstoppable, and the world was about to know it. A final flash of lightning split the sky, illuminating the three of us, me, Stevina, and the mysterious figure. Everything hung in suspense. Every heartbeat, every glance, every motion was a question waiting for an answer.